What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Keep It in 99 with your host, Mena,
Isaiah.
and we got a special guest with us.
Special. Wow, thank
Who are
you.
you?
My name's Alex.
Nice to meet you, Alex. So I have a question for you.
You didn't meet me, by the way.
Yeah, you already
I've
know.
known
Okay,
you
well,
for
I met
quite
you
a
on the
while.
podcast, so what's your name? Or what do you do for a living? That's what I meant. What do you do for a living?
What do I do for a living? Well, right now I don't do anything for a living because I don't get paid. But I'm in flight school. I'm gonna be a pilot. So
Are you
that's
afraid
the
of
plan.
heights?
No. I'm not afraid of heights. No.
Do you know anyone who is afraid of heights and a pilot?
I do actually. It's funny you asked me. A lot of pilots actually are scared of heights.
Like
It's
who?
a common thing. One of my good friends, Tony Tedros. He's not very
Nice.
fond of heights, but you don't really feel it in the plane. So
Does it just feel like a car?
no, not at
Why
all.
would
What
it
does
feel
it
like
feel
a
like?
car?
I mean, because he said
Yeah.
you don't feel it, so I would imagine it feels like a car with a little bit of shaking.
You don't feel the height,
You don't feel the height,
Oh.
but
but
yeah.
you ever been in like a big plane, right?
Yeah,
You know when you get like some turbulence and it's
Mm-hmm.
bumpy? It's like times 10.
really.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Feels like a roller coaster sometimes.
I mean, how does the pilot feel since you've like
I am the
controlled
pilot.
the airplane? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do you feel?
I don't
pilot?
I don't really feel it because I'm flying. But if you're sitting like you're not flying,
So basically, the turbulence is in the back, not the front.
it's not the back. It's just like when you ever get car sick? You ever been car
Yeah,
sick?
no, not me.
But like it's common if you're car sick, like usually the passengers get car sick, not the person driving because
It's 'cause, like,
he's in control
Yeah.
and he's focused on
Oh,
the road.
okay, yeah.
No, because like when you're the pilot, like you're like expecting things to happen. Like when
Mm-hmm.
you're turning, like you're going to turn, so your body like expects it. But like, and like the same thing like when you're driving. But like if you've ever been in a car, someone like slams the brakes,
Feel
like
it.
you're not expecting, like you're not expecting it. But as a driver, like you know it's coming, so it's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
it's not as bad.
Okay, so you're like more prepared for it.
Yeah, it's just because you're in control. You're focused on actually flying or you're focused on driving, whatever it might be. You're
Yeah.
not just sitting there swaying or getting motion sick.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually, funny enough, my first 2 or 3 weeks of flight school when I started, I got very, very motion sick after every flight.
Really.
Yeah, like I threw up twice in the plane.
I wonder how the co-pilot felt.
My instructor,
Yeah, your instructor.
yeah, he wasn't. It was the first time we met, so it was pretty awkward to be
Oh.
honest. And like, I had to throw up in my shoe.
In your
That's
shoes?
disgusting.
Yeah,
That's,
I would
that's so
never.
gross.
I didn't even
They
know.
don't, they don't
that.
have like emergency like bags you could throw up
I
in?
thought they did.
They usually do, but there
Not
was
that
no
time.
there was no bags in the
That,
plane.
that's where you blame the instructor because he was not prepared.
That's true.
I mean,
That's true. But I was literally like, he could see it on my face, and I was like,
Oh,
Getting all
okay. You were
pale?
like gagging?
yeah, no, I wasn't gagging yet, but like I was getting pale, I was getting sweaty,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
and then he was like, I was like, yo, I didn't even tell him. He just like looked at me, and I was like, yo, I'm about
Pull out
to throw
your
up.
shoe.
He was like, you got to do it in your shoe. I was like, my shoe.
what's out
He's
the
like,
window?
he's like, it's a lot easier to clean up than the plane.
Why don't you just do it out the window?
I mean, well,
I'm at like I'm at like 7,000 feet, dog.
what if it hits like...
Exactly.
Imagine like...
First of all, I fly a Piper Archer, which is a low-winged aircraft
Oh, okay.
versus a high-winged aircraft.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, you ever heard like a Cessna
Yeah, yeah.
172?
I flew one actually.
Really?
I did. Yeah, in November.
How was it?
It was for a field trip. It was so fun.
It's pretty cool,
You
right?
flew
Yeah,
it?
it was cool. Yeah, I was the pilot.
No way.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So yeah, it's the same thing basically, except instead of the wings being high, like up
Yeah,
on
yeah.
top, they're low.
Does that make a difference? Or
It makes in terms of like those are the two most common like trainer like planes. Like there's more Cessna 172s, or Cessna makes more planes in the world than any other company of planes. So it doesn't really make a difference. They fly a little bit different. Honestly, only when you come into land. But I'm not gonna get nerdy on you guys. But the little window is only like the 172. The Cessna has a big window, so
Yeah.
I could have probably thrown out the window if I was in a Cessna. But the little Archer just has like a little tab,
Oh, okay.
so I couldn't do that. So I had to throw up in my shoe and ruin those.
Were they expensive?
No, they were just like some Adidas
Okay. yeah.
runners. I lied. I didn't throw them away. I just washed them and I used them again.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing.
Shoes aren't cheap,
would
man.
you-
Save for less.
Yeah,
Would you
shoes
throw up in
aren't
your
cheap.
kicks right now?
No, look. These are the shoes that I got on now. Hold on. Ooh.
Oh,
Look at these.
man.
These are tough. I would never
But see,
stop with
if
these.
you're in the plane and you gotta throw up, what are you gonna do?
I'm throwing up on the instructor. Yeah. He
his
wasn't
fault.
prepared. Yeah.
You didn't bring the
he wasn't
garbage
prepared.
bags.
It's his fault.
But yeah, actually, a little more serious note. But I got super sick for like the first maybe 2 weeks, so probably like my first 6 or 7 lessons, and I got to the point where I was like, yo, I don't even think I could do this. Like, I had zero motivation to fly. Like it was just wasn't fun because every time I flew, I would just get extremely motion sick. And I'm not talking like, oh, I just have to throw up. Like you're seeing
Dizziness?
blurred vision.
Yeah.
Like it is a bad, and there's nowhere you can go. There's absolutely nowhere you can go. And then when that happens, I can't learn what I need to learn for that day's lesson. So then I just wasted my instructor's time, my time, and most importantly, a lot of money. So
Yeah.
I was super discouraged. I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. I remember after like my fourth or fifth lesson, I was in my car outside flight school at the airport, and I texted my mom this long thing. I was like, Mom, this just isn't for me. I know I told you I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. And like, I was like, yeah, I just can't do this. But funny enough, she was like, just keep going, just keep trying. And I pushed through, and now I don't get motion sick anymore.
How long have you been in flight school?
I've been in flight school since December 2020. December 2020.
Oh, okay.
So
have
yeah,
you gotten to the part where you like jump out the plane with a parachute or not yet?
that's not part of flight school.
That's not flight school, man.
What if like you have an emergency? You're gonna
You
freak
don't
out.
jump out the window.
Yeah, no,
Like
you don't
where do you go?
You
You jump out the door.
No, you don't jump.
No.
What kind of? I mean, it just. It's funny. A lot of people say that, like, well, why don't you have parachutes?
Oh, you don't have parachutes?
No, of course not. These planes, first and foremost, flying is actually the most safe form of transportation.
Yeah, probably because there's no one there to crash into.
That's not true.
That's not the case. But it's just.
I mean,
like if you look at like all the vehicles, like trains, planes, cars, all that.
Yeah, of course.
Your safest mode of transportation is planes. But anyways, a plane is not like, the movies where they're like, it's just like flipping and doing all this stuff. It's not like that. We actually train in your private stage. You do a lot of training for, like stalls, which a stall basically, just to sum it up and not get nerdy on you guys again, but a stall. So you know how a plane flies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plane flies with like air going over the wings, right? So a stall is when the frame of the wing goes too high or too low. So therefore smooth air can't flow over the wing.
okay.
So therefore I stop flying. So basically if I'm taking off and I pull back too hard and it's called the angle of attack, and I break that angle of attack, I'm going to stall. So I'm just going to go boom, and I'm just going to fall right back down.
Oh, okay.
So you actually have to learn how to, in your
gotta-
private stage, you have to learn how to do stalls and then recover them. So you put your plane in the stall and then you recover. But anyways, like if I, God forbid, were to be flying and my engine just were to stop, like it just were to stop spinning, like my prop were to
Yeah.
stop spinning, I wouldn't just fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
I would glide. They want to fly. It's an airplane.
Yeah.
So I have, depending on the day, I have 5-6 miles of glide range. So I'm not gonna just fall out of the sky. So it's relatively safe. It's just a lot of accidents happen in like bad weather, or 99% of the time it's pilot error. So it's the pilot's fault. It's not just some random thing. But yeah, it's pretty safe. It's pretty cool. If you guys ever want to come flying, we can go fly.
Well, why did you like pick flight school out of everything? Why did flying just like? Why was it number one?
It's a great question. It actually wasn't number one. So
Oh.
I went to college, and the original plan was marine biology.
Oh, you like
I
animals?
remember that. I remember
Yeah,
that.
I was
remember
supposed to
that
do
one.
marine biology. I've always, since I was a kid, man, I just loved the ocean. I loved the animals. I loved everything about it. And I wanted to be a marine mammal veterinarian. So I wanted to be like a dolphin doctor, basically.
Oh, okay.
That didn't end up working
The
out.
Georgia Aquarium,
Actually,
Really?
yeah, I volunteered at the aquarium for 6.5 years.
like internship or?
Yeah, it started off as an internship. I finished all the internships, and then I just basically worked for them for free.
Oh, okay.
But it was cool. People are always like, "Oh, you didn't get paid," blah blah blah. But it was the best time of my life. Like I got to swim. I always tell people I swam with dolphins for a living.
Yeah.
It was really fun. But anyways, I finished that, and I was like, vet school didn't work out. Basically, I just couldn't get into vet school. And then I was like, man, what am I gonna do? So, funny enough, my dad's side of the family, like his brother and his brother's son, so his cousin, are pilots. Or a lot of people on my dad's side of the family are pilots, except my dad. Funny enough, my dad actually, off topic, he actually started flight school and quit on like his second day back in Egypt.
Was he like? Was it the fear?
No, and I don't know what it was. I never asked him. I was gonna say, oh, what if it was him being motion sick? That would have been funny. Full circle. But anyways, I was like, you know what? Let me try this out. Get my private license, which is your private license is just like the first license you get, which all that allows you to do is, hey man, we're gonna go with some friends and fly. Let's go rent a plane and fly. So it just allows you to recreationally fly. So I did that, and I was like, man, I absolutely love this, fell in love, and I wanted to make it a career. And it's a really good career to be in. So,
Did someone get you into that, or did you like?
so actually, Tony, we were talking about Tony earlier. Tony's one of those people that's always wanted to be a pilot since he was a little kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he wanted to get into it, and he started his training before I did. And I already had kind of the idea in the back of my head. I was like, I really like this. But he started, and it kind of motivated me to start as well. But I started at a different school. He started at a kind of like a local mom and pop type place, and I went straight into my flight school now, which is ATP flight school. Actually, not my flight school now, but my old flight school.
Okay. Like, so your high school, like, what you wanted to do, like your college career, it was marine biology.
Yeah, I wanted to live on the ocean.
Was there a reason for that? Like,
Actually, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I think as a kid, I was just one of those kids that like grew up and we used to go to my family used to always go to the beach. I would spend, I'd be the first one on the beach at 8:30 in the morning, and I'd
Last
be
one out.
the last one when the sun went down. And I was always that kid that just like messed with like, look for the creepy crawly stuff, the funky stuff. I was always just that person. So I don't know, maybe that's why I fell in love with it, but I think mainly it's being on the water, like just being, whether it be a lake or the ocean, is my favorite, but it just makes me happy,
yeah, so it was like a different feeling.
Yeah.
Did you play any sports like in high school that you wanted to pursue, like D1?
I did play sports in high school. Maybe if you were to ask me at the time, I probably would have said that I wanted to pursue it and get D1 just for free college. And that was also what everybody said. Everybody was like, oh, I want to go D1, whatever. But yeah, I played football in high school. And like I said, maybe if you would have asked me then, I would probably be like, yeah, I want to go D1. I want to do this, this, and that. But looking back, I mean, football taught me so much, especially high school. Football taught me so much, but I didn't really pursue it enough to go Division One. Wasn't that good.
Yeah.
I know that's the buzzword these days. You going D1, man? You going D1?
Yeah.
Nah, dog, not going D1. Just playing.
You think if you like were committed, do you think you could have made it D1?
Maybe, but going Division One in a sport, especially out of high school, a lot of people. I mean, it is a commitment thing. It's a like work ethic thing, but it's also opportunity. Like, who walked in today into my school and saw me do this or saw me do that. Think about how many high school football players are in this country. Each program, like there's Norcross High School, they have like 300 kids on their football team. And 99% of those kids are trying to go D1. So, I mean, maybe not. I don't know. But it was more so for me, it was something that I did just to, dedicate, like commit to something, I want to commit to this. I want to put my all into it and go through with that. So, but it was never, I have to go D1 if I don't, like that wasn't always in the back of my head.
That wasn't your main goal?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a nice if it happens type of thing. It's not like
yeah, for sure. I mean, free college.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I mean, I probably could have walked on to like a Kennesaw at the time and played there, but it's not something like I don't know if you guys are like a college athletes, like a student athlete in college. That's a crazy schedule, man.
Yeah,
it's too much. It's wild.
Waking up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I did it because I loved it, and
Yeah.
a lot of the times, man, you'll talk to some of these these athletes and like their parents or somebody pressure them into doing it, and you lose your love for the game.
Yeah.
It becomes work. It becomes like I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. and do this. So I did it because I loved it. That's it.
So you weren't pressured to do anything, like
No, my parents probably went to one of my football games ever. They were like, yeah.
the rest was just all you.
Yeah, there was no pressure. They didn't understand what I was doing, to be honest, but it is what it is. You know Egyptian parents.
Yeah, it's
you just hit each other, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
They don't get it. But I mean, I made this the people that I played football with in high school, like I was in the same school system from when I was in preschool. Yeah. I never moved, I never went anywhere. So
Like the same district?
yeah, same district. So I like grew up with these guys. I grew up with like our whole like senior, like my class, like we grew up together. So we were very tight knit. It was a very, in playing a sport and doing that just makes you a lot closer.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing.
Definitely.
So we'll change gears a little bit and talk about a little bit more about like, like friendships that you developed and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, obviously you're a very outgoing guy. You talk a lot.
I do talk a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Shout out.
And
Shout out.
you're really good at like making friends and stuff and talking to people. And obviously, so far on this podcast, you've probably been the.
You gassed me up, dude.
I mean, that's the whole point of this. We have to gas you up to make you feel good.
Keep going, dude. I'm gonna let you do your thing.
We gotta make you feel good so you can talk more.
Yeah.
No, but like, what do you feel like? What do you feel like is like the most important thing in a friendship?
The most important thing in a friendship. Well, I guess you gotta kind of break down what a friend means to you. I remember I still have this problem where, like, I like to call a lot of people my friend, right? Like, I have these many friends, or I have this. Like, this person's my friend. This person's my friend. But like, as I've gotten older, and my circle, for lack of better terms, has gotten tighter, you realize like you're gonna come across a lot of people in your life, and yeah, they're gonna be your friends, but like they're just kind of like here and there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a friend to me is like, or what you asked? What did you ask? You asked the most important quality.
Most important
Yeah.
quality.
I think there's so many different things, but it's somebody that's like most importantly to me is gonna keep me in check or keep me back, like keep me in line. You don't want your boys to be like yes men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want them to be like this. And then on the opposite side, you don't want them to critique everything you do, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want everything you do to be a meme or
Why are you looking at me?
a meme or a troll.
Not
And
just some things.
yeah,
We said critique.
but no, critique is good. Your friends are gonna critique you. Don't get me wrong, but like as you get older, you realize like not everybody's meant to be your friend. That's another
Yeah.
thing that I had to realize as well. Is like I was always like, oh, like I could be friends with anybody, and you could be friendly with anybody, but like people at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, like some people's personalities, not that saying that they're bad personalities, but some people just don't click with you. And like it's not, when I say like click, I don't mean like, oh, I fight with them all the time. It's more so like they don't have like the qualities that you're looking for in a friend, and you don't have the qualities that they're looking for. It's just a quality thing. It's not necessarily like this person is bad to me or whatever. You're gonna have those people, but it's more so like who meshes well with you, if that makes sense.
What are your qualities of a friend? Like
what I
to
look for?
define a friend. Yeah.
I think yeah, like I said earlier, I think someone that I tend to kind of just go off in different things, whether it be like arguments or talking or whatever. So they're laughing because they know.
Yeah.
I need someone that's gonna like bring me back to earth, if that makes sense. And
Like keep you in check.
yeah, keeping me in check, but not in the way that's like not in
you're
like a
doing something
rude,
wrong.
like disrespectful way. More so like
A friendly way.
yeah, and as I've gotten older, I've realized that like there's some people that just like to shut you down.
Yeah.
Or like to just like this and that.
Yeah.
Or there's some people that like hear you out, but they're like, okay, maybe you were wrong on this or whatever it may be. So it's different things. I don't know if I could like make a list of qualities, because I can say the basic ones. You could say like, I want someone who's honest. I want someone who's nice or whatever. You just, as you get older, you see these different personalities and you're like, okay, I mesh well with this person, or I don't mesh well with this person.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So obviously, you're a little bit older than us, a few years.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Not that much.
So obviously, like you have your like little like social group at church. I don't know like any of like your friends outside of church, obviously, because I don't know them.
Yeah.
But like I see like your group, and I feel like a lot of people in our group like look up to your, their like social circle, and obviously, obviously there's a lot of like issues within every single social circle, and
Yeah.
but I feel like how do you manage like problems between people within, like even if like you're not involved, but there's two people that are like at odds, and like it's because it's hard to choose sides, especially like because when everyone's friends with everyone, like in a group like this, and so like how do you really like just like go through problems together and like really like solve things?
Dude, that's a great question.
We're filled with good questions today.
Look at you guys. You guys are on it. It's as if we had this planned or something.
Oh yeah, Munda woke up today.
That's good. Yeah, you're talking. There you
Hey, you're
go.
not sleeping, man. Congrats, man. Good job.
Are you looking at the camera? Don't look at the camera like that, dog. That's a great question. Honestly, the only way to like learn or get through like challenges with your friends, I can speak for me, like with the boys, is like the more you go through them, you realize, okay, this person responds to this well, or this person doesn't respond to this well. And I think the most important thing is as guys, we're all guys.
Yeah.
You have to put your pride aside.
Yeah.
Like that, which is like, I just said it, ooh, like whatever, but it is the hardest thing to do. Cause like we're guys, we have our pride. We want to be whatever. So if there's problems in the group where there's two people that, you know, have a problem, which honestly, thank God, we don't really have that issue. We never really did have that issue. But if there was, it presented itself, the best way to do it is like sit down and talk about it. Like, and you know, if it's something not serious, but if something like that somebody's passionate about or something, you know, where emotions are high, let the yelling happen. Let them yell, let them do whatever they have to do. Like, obviously nothing's going to get physical, but after the emotions set aside, you're going to use logic and be like, okay, why did this happen? And 99% of the time, 100% of the time in my group, it's always been the most petty thing. Like, it's something so dumb, so like wishy-washy that's just like goes back to being like your pride is just hurt or whatever it may be. So once you realize that, and you realize, like, you know, this person does this or this person responds to this well, you don't have problems like that.
Yeah, no, I feel like in our group, obviously we went to the monastery last week. I feel like we honestly got like a lot of things like ironed out.
That's good.
Yeah,
dude.
We also got a lot of things.
I was telling Mena, like, those trips, like, there's nothing that brings you closer than those trips. And like, it might not seem like it while you're there. It might seem like, oh, like this person's like, you know, annoying me, or this person's doing this, and they probably are. But dude, like, you come back and you're just like, you grow such a stronger bond with your the boys at that point. Like, that's how a lot of us got close when we used to go to the monastery, because the work that they have you put, like, they put you through,
It's all teamwork.
yeah, it
all
just
teamwork.
breaks you down. You're smelly, you're stinky, you're like whatever. It's a bonding experience.
Yeah.
It's
I
the
mean,
best.
the first few couple of days we had like arguments here and there, and then once we had like a talk with each other, we grew together, and we bonded as if we knew each other for such a long time.
Yeah.
Like, obviously there are people that are new to our group, so we just felt like a real close connection between each other after that trip.
Dude, I love hearing that. I love to hear
I
that.
mean, like even like on the car ride there was some issues. There were some fights that broke out on the way there.
It's a long car ride, man. It's gonna happen. We're guys.
But on the way back, it was
Peaceful.
peaceful, and it was, I mean, obviously,
Everybody's exhausted. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we're guys. That's it. You're gonna face that, dude, for the rest of your life. Like, with your boys. I'm not even talking about people that come and go. Like, you're gonna go through things where like you're gonna be neck and neck, and you're gonna argue about this. You're gonna do this, but like,
At the end of the day.
at the end of the day, you shake their hand and you tell them you love them, and it's whatever. Because, like I said earlier, it's petty stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, especially like in y'all's age group, and even in my age group, dude, we're young. There's nothing serious happening yet.
Yeah.
You know, it's always something so petty. So, like, but it's honestly those like fights and arguments and disagreements or whatever, and like after that, that's what brings you the closest. Then you realize, like, you know, maybe this person wasn't attacking me, my character, but he was just, you know, has this point of view or whatever. And I struggle to see that a lot. I struggle to see, like, when I used to get in arguments, because, like we said earlier, I'm a very passionate person. Like, I'm very passionate, so I like to express my opinion or my views. So, like, sometimes I remember I always used to like we'd have an argument. I'd always used to like go home and I'd be like, dude, like, how can they not see my point of view? Like, they're so wrong. I'm so right. Blah blah blah. And then I just realized, like you have to put yourself in their position, like where they're coming from or what they're doing. And then once you do that, like, the argument's not about who's right and who's wrong. It just kind of becomes like, oh, what am I taking? What am I learning from this person or whatever it might be? So yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like a very important thing, like, when you're like in dealings with people, you know, especially like people that you're gonna spend like a significant amount of time with in your life, because like we've been in the same, live in the same church. We've been friends since we were born until like any of us move out, which isn't gonna be for a while. So I feel like the most important thing that we come down to that is just like reconciliation. You know, always going back to each other, always, you know, solving your issues correctly, and like always trying to, because like we're all fighting for the same goal, right? We're all going for the same thing. So it's very important for us to like notice that, and I think like especially like this trip really helped us with that. And so obviously thank you, Mena. I don't know where you went, but thank you to him for bringing us there. And Abuna, obviously.
Yeah, like you just said, man. At the end of the day, like we grew up, like we all grew up in the same. We're kind of like, our group is like that too. A lot of us grew up in the same. You know, we grew up together. And you kind of realize. I remember Mena Gabriel. Shout out Mena Gabriel. Always used to tell us, like, your boys, and not just your boys, but your friends, like, these core group, at the end of the day, that's all you got, man. Like,
Yeah.
those are the people that are going to be with you, even when you move away. Like, those are still the people that are your rock, your foundation. So like, why am I going to throw away a friendship or something, something so strong, or what I have, for something so petty when I really look at it, And like, the bond that you have with your friends, that, your tight group, the boys, for lack of better terms, like, you're going to realize as you get older, like, nothing is going to infiltrate it. Nothing's going to like, oh, this petty argument's going to break this, or this is going to break this friendship. It's like, nah, man, we're in this for life. You know what I mean? Like, these are your friends, these are your people. And like, when it comes down to it, whatever arguments we have, I know that those guys are in my corner. You know what I mean? Those guys are on my team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree 100%. And you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have a question. Have you ever like had an argument with one of your buddies, then you go home and you just feel guilty or something? Because I felt that before.
Dude, every argument I've gotten into, bro, I probably have sent them a text, like, because when I get into it, because like I said, we're guys, we have a lot of like hormones going, the pride is going, or whatever. Dude, I remember, like, I'll always get into arguments and I'll get super passionate. I'm a very loud person too, so like, sometimes it comes off as like me yelling or me whatever. So like, all the time, every single time, like, I would get back home and I'd be like I would just, all that guilt would hit me, and I would always text them like, yo, dude, I really didn't mean it like this. Like, I hope whatever. I just get super, and then eventually, they realize, like, okay, he doesn't mean harm. He's just, loud.
Yeah, I know some people that are like, they want to apologize, but their pride is so high. They're like, they have to apologize first because it was their fault.
Yeah, that's another big thing with us too, is like, I'm not going to apologize, or I'm not going to do this. And at the end of the day, it's your pride. Like,
yeah.
And that, dude, the only way you can like deal with your pride, or, come to terms with it, is just, you get older and you realize, like, the world is not going to, shape its way for you,
Yeah,
like
your pride means nothing. Like, yeah, it's good to have pride, and it's good to be like, firm in your beliefs and stuff. But like, if you think everything's about me, or, this person didn't apologize to me first, whatever, you're going to get your butt beat out there,
Yeah.
Because the world is not a nice place.
Especially when you're younger, because you're not exposed to the real world.
Yeah.
Until like, let's say 21, where you live by yourself and you got to deal with stuff by yourself.
Yeah. And then you're so used to like your little bubble of like, I always used to get it my way or whatever. And then you get thrown out there, and
Nothing goes your way.
life's gonna kick you around, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where like humility and like maturity comes into play, like big time. I feel like humility is probably like the hardest thing for
Humbleness.
Humbleness, humility. It's so hard. I feel like even like within our trip, like the amount of self-control and the humility it took, like, to not just, snap back and fight back and lash
somebody
out
in the face.
every 10 seconds was so hard. It really it's another level of self-control. Honestly.
That's the big one too. Like, you just got to set your pride aside and just be like, you know what, man, like, sometimes, like, these battles just aren't worth fighting sometimes. Like, you're in the middle of I'll be in the middle of an argument. I'm like, dude, we're arguing about like something so dumb. Like, but it's actually, I lied. It's never in the middle of an argument. It's always after an argument. But like, in the middle of it, you're like, it's like
so
the most
into
important thing to you. You know what I mean? But that humility is a huge thing. It's realizing, like, this is not worth the battle. This is not worth doing this.
Yeah.
Like even like it's not just like when you have arguments with your friends, arguments with your parents, arguments with like your peers at school, like when it comes to like projects and stuff. I feel like obviously every single place and every single like relationship has its own differences, but I feel like humility and like pure love is like, those are the answers to so many problems and so many issues that we have in this world, like between people, between friends, even like within yourself. I feel like sometimes if like loving yourself is like one of the hardest things you can ever do.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's one of the most important things, because you can't love others if you don't love yourself. So
yeah, for sure, man. You just hit the nail on the head. Like, every problem in our society would be solved with like humility and pride, like being set aside. Like, that's, when it comes down to it, that's everything. That's all of it. But we're humans. We're flawed. Like, we are so imperfect. So like, those things are gonna happen. But the best thing about those things happening is like, okay, like, this argument or this situation happened. What did I learn from this? Like, how did I respond to this? Or, everything's gonna be different. you're not going to get the same lesson every time. Like, you know, this person responds to this or whatever. So you learn something new from each and one of these encounters. So that's the good thing about them. But you're right. Like, if, you know, as a human race, we were just less prideful and more humble, or had more humility, and just were kind to other people, it'd be so much easier.
Yeah. Have you ever, like, whenever you get into an argument with your parents or something, do you ever feel that same pride you feel when you argue against, like, your peers?
Yeah, I think it's a different type of pride, though. I think it's, you know, when I'm arguing with, you know, my friends, it's like a I know this and you don't know this kind of thing. But like when I'm arguing with my parents sometimes, or when I used to argue, like, you know, whatever, it was more so like they don't understand, you know?
Yeah.
That's a big thing with our generation.
Yeah, especially with like
Yeah.
our parents being immigrants and all that. It's a
Yeah. And,
very big thing.
you know, a lot of times, you know, like they don't understand. But
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, like those are my parents. Back to what I was saying, like those are my parents. Like those are the people I have, you know? Those are the people that brought me into this world. They're the most important people in the world. So like, just because they might not know something, or they might not, you know, be experienced to this, because like you said, they are immigrants or they came from wherever, like they know what's best for me at the end of the day. You know, like the things that they said and the arguments that we would get into, they're not doing it to be like rude or aggressive or mean. They think that that's what's best for me. And a lot of the times they're right. And you don't realize it now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I still don't realize it. Like I'm still at that point, but down the line, I know I'm going to be so grateful for all the things that like they said I shouldn't do, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, like even now, like there's some things I noticed, like my parents like said, like that I argued with them about, that you know, it took a couple years, but like they were right in the end. Like they were right. That they haven't been wrong yet. So
Yeah. They shoot,
but
pretty
even
good
like
from the 3-point line.
For real?
no, but like even like it doesn't matter. Like still every single time, you know, you still have that pride. You still have that, even though you know, like you know inside, like yeah, they're right, but you know.
Yeah, you just brought up another good point, man. Like sometimes like realizing like, oh, maybe I was wrong about this. Like I've tried so hard recently to say like, if I'm wrong about something, like, you know, I was wrong. Like this was something I was wrong about. But dude, talk to me like when I was y'all's age, like that was the last thing I was doing on planet Earth, was saying I was wrong.
Yeah, because
I would try to find like the around the
reason why,
corner and be
yeah.
like, oh, but I was right in this or whatever, like, you know. So like, and doing that, especially like with friends or even out in the real world, like if someone looks at you and they realize like, you know, you come, you know, and you say I was wrong about this, like nobody's gonna be like, oh yeah, you were wrong.
yeah,
People are gonna have so much more respect for you. Like they're gonna be like, you know, like he knows when his word is wrong and he knows when his word is right, and he's able to admit, okay, I was wrong about this. And as guys, that's the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to do.
I mean, it comes down to humility, really, because like if you're full of pride and you're full of like, oh no, I'm right, like you're not gonna own up to it. So I feel like,
especially when you know, and especially when you know, you're like in the back of your head, like, oh man, I was wrong about this.
yeah,
But like, let me still fight around it, you know?
yeah. I mean, you have a big friend group, right?
Yeah, we have a pretty good sized group.
So do you have like any like tips, I would say, like for us to like grow without
'cause
arguing?
ours is pretty large.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
I think ours might be bigger.
Yeah, I mean, like your friend group, like you guys have a big friend group, right? But like you realize as you get older and as you get closer to each other, like kind of what I was saying earlier, like, you know, just because I have a big friend group doesn't mean I'm going to be super vulnerable with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, if I have an issue or something that I'm not, you know, like that's something deep or you know, troubles to me, I'm not going to just like, all right, let's get in a circle and let's talk about it. You know, that's not a good setting. You're going to find people, and you're going to find people that like are going to give you something that you want, that you're looking for. So like, you know, I have a couple of people that if I have, you know, issues with school or relationships or whatever it might be, like all the problems that come in the world, like I'm going to go to person this and talk to them and be vulnerable. That's if there's one thing is, as a guy, you have to learn to be vulnerable, bro. Like you have to learn to open up. It's back to where we're saying about pride and humility.
Yeah.
Like, and when you're vulnerable with somebody, like I'm sure you guys saw when you guys went to the monastery, like when you're vulnerable, when you open up with somebody, there's nothing that brings you closer. You know, there's nothing that ties that bond together than when you're just open and honest about whatever it might be, you know? But yeah, I mean, I think my one piece of advice would just be, you know, be open and vulnerable with your friends that are your friends, and you know, have humility, realize, put yourself in other people's position, and you're all you got. Your boys are all you got.
Yeah, I feel like being vulnerable is like, it is one of the hardest things. And I like on the Montessori trip, like we actually did sit down in a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All of us,
yeah.
we did sit down in a circle, and we went around and we like talked about stuff. And we also did something. Actually, Abu Nathaniel suggested that we all go around in a circle and give every single person like a compliment about like something,
Yeah.
like, and it wasn't just it was like a really like I think I actually like benefited a lot from it, like trying to think about like something good about some people.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
especially like from one night, because I was trying to get something that wasn't just he was funny.
Yeah, because not everyone, but like most people were like, "Oh, you laugh, you're so funny," which I appreciate. But like, there's more to it.
There's more to
There's
Linda,
more
man.
to it. Yeah.
There's more to
So
you.
I feel like it really made me think. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like what is something good about Munda that's not he's funny, he laughs a lot.
Yeah.
And so like, and it wasn't just him, it was, you know, like everyone in the group obviously is like 12 of us. And I feel like, I mean, it really got, especially with people like I have issues with or had issues with, it really gets me like, okay, what can I say positive about this person
Yeah.
that is actually genuine?
Exactly.
And I feel like, you know, it took me a solid 2 hours to put that together.
Yeah.
For 10 people to think of one thing.
Yeah.
So-
it's hard.
Yeah, I feel like as guys, like because of our pride, we don't like to think good about other people a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, that was the thing I wrote about Munda. His like the compliment for him is that he's always looking at the good in people. You know, he's always doing that, and so it's obviously something I can learn from him. But so I feel like, you know, just that setting of us talking, being vulnerable, being open, being nice to each other, openly being actively trying to be nice and actively trying to be kind. You know, putting all the negativity aside. I feel like when you're vulnerable with people, like they're not going to clown you for it. You know,
No. Yeah.
like you say something, like they're not going to be like, oh, like it's not how
Yeah.
it works. And I feel like it's honestly like a really good feeling to get stuff off your chest.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, you know, I benefited a lot from it. And you know,
Yeah, when I was talking about everyone, there was like one point where I got like super emotional, not like crying emotional, but like in my heart I really felt like their love is so like they have a lot of love for each other.
Yeah. Dude, it's we did that recently. We did that same thing where it was like, you know, everybody, let's just set everything aside and like, you know, name something, you know, genuine about this person. And we did the same thing. We were in a circle, we did the exact same thing. And like Mona said, it, dude, when you hear like, because a lot of times, like when we're a big group, it's always like who can get the best laugh, or who can get the last laugh, or who can say the funniest joke.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times,
I win all of them.
there you go. A lot of the
No, I'm
times it comes at the expense of others. You know, it's all fun and games. It's all jokes. We're all, you know, just having fun. But like the best jokes, quote unquote, are the ones that come at the expense of somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So like when you sit down and you know, I really appreciate how you do this, and this, something that's like about not just like their outward personality, but like something that's innate in them. Like Wanda said, dude, it's emotional, like especially with guys, because we don't do that. You know, we don't sit around and sing kumbaya and gas each other up like girls do. Like we're not commenting on each other's Instagram like slay queen.
Yeah.
You know, we don't. Unfortunately, I would love for I'd love for the boys to do that, but it's emotional. You hear these different perspectives, like, oh man, I never knew that. You know, Tony or whoever it was like thought this about me. You know,
Yeah.
like a quality that like maybe I didn't even see in myself. Like I didn't even realize I did that, but I did do that. Dude, yeah, it's a
like
great.
it doesn't even like gas up your pride or anything. Like it's honestly, it's just like you're kind of like you're just like curious about what like people really think, and it does like obviously feel good and does, but it's not like an ego boost.
No.
Like it's honestly like wow, like it lets you like understand what effect you have on other people.
Yeah.
It made me feel like a little humble.
Yeah.
It does that. You're right. It doesn't, especially if it's coming from a genuine place. It doesn't. You're not like, oh yeah, I did this well. You're kind of looking. You're like, man, like that means so much to me that you think like I do this well. But like, man, I hope I can keep doing that for you. Like I can keep doing that. It's not like a yep, I did that kind of thing. It's a very humbling experience.
Yeah,
It's a
I
great
feel like
thing.
especially for the people in the group that were like being called like hey, you're like we see like you're a good leader, you're good like to like you know certain people in the group. I feel like from that moment we had that talk for the rest of the trip and like even like today, they really took that like knowing like hey like you know people you know like actually listen, people like actually think I'm a leader. So let me actually use that in a positive way. Like let me actually go out and lead.
Yeah.
And I feel like for the rest of the trip, like those few people that you know were told like, hey, you're a good leader, really took that responsibility and really tried to lead by example. And I don't know, it was honestly like a really good thing. Like I feel like, you know, a lot of people felt like encouraged by it. You know, like people that we called determined, people that we called, you know, like you know, wise, or people that we said like only talks at like good times and like only has good things to say, they really like embrace that part of themselves for the rest of the trip, instead of everyone just trying to get, you know, like you're saying, the best laugh, you know, whatever, like trying to get trying to like be funny or trying to get all the attention. I feel like it turned into like everyone like playing a positive role to bring us all closer to our goal of the trip. So
yeah, and then you realize like people's like what people are good at, because it's when you guys sat, like, when we sit around in a circle and we like say like, oh, I really appreciate this in this person or whatever, these aren't like things that are like brand new to you, like, or brand new to the group. Like if someone's a good leader, everybody knows they're a good leader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, but once it's brought to light and it's, you know, said to someone, you kind of can just think like, okay, like yeah, I could take on that role, but like how do I be like a good leader and lead by example or do whatever? So like you're right, it's a humbling experience, and it makes you like want to be the best version of yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you want to do good by your friends, you want to do good by your boys, so that's why you do it.
I feel like it's like, you know, it's a very important thing, because like obviously like we're a very close knit group. Like I said earlier, we're gonna be here, you know, for the rest of our lives, really.
And even after, man, even after you leave,
exactly.
These boys are with you for life, man. That's just how it works.
And so it's such a good experience to really know that, like, you know, they have your back, and they really think positive things about you. Because I feel like a lot of times, like when we have these big arguments and we go months and months of just arguing, like we had that in our group. I mean, past like a year and a half. You know, we haven't, like, no one said anything nice about anyone.
Yeah.
And like we've had people like almost leave the church. We've had people not show up for weeks. We've had people completely distance themselves, and people remove themselves from group chats. People just not wanting to be around the rest of us. Just a lot of negativity. I feel like by actively and purposefully cultivating the positivity and really trying to say nice things about each other, and, you know, including people in our group that maybe weren't included before, like even Mena, obviously, because now he's, you know, now he's in high school. Like obviously, like no one really talked to him before. Actually, people bullied him a lot when we were.
But as jokes, it wasn't like personal. Like I don't hold a grudge against them.
Yeah,
it was
no,
just
I know what
jokes.
you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like just having that and, you know, really embedding that into our group, I feel like really benefited, you know, all of us. And
that's the last thing you want, man. The last thing you want is somebody leaving, you know, the church or leaving the friend group, even for something that like we said earlier, it's always something petty.
It could have always been solved.
Yeah, it's always solved. And like as a man, you know, as somebody that's puts their pride aside, excuse me, it's, you know, you're gonna realize like you're gonna have to settle disagreements. You're never just gonna be like, you know what, you know, I'm just gonna walk away from this, or I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna solve it my own way or whatever. You're gonna have to face those problems, and you're gonna have to come face to face with your friend or whoever it might be and say, you know, I didn't appreciate how you did this or whatever, and solve and figure it out. Maybe at the end of it, maybe the end game isn't that we're best friends, but, you know, reconciliation. I know that I'm not upset at you anymore. You're not upset at me anymore. Maybe we're not meant to be like, you know, friends or close friends at the end of it, but there's no hard feelings. There's
there shouldn't be a grudge held against each other.
Exactly. So I mean, you're gonna have to do that for the rest of your life with a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
So that's the last thing you want. Somebody leaving the church or leaving the friend group or doing that. That's not a good thing.
Yeah. So just to go off of that, you know, we'll talk about one more thing and then we'll probably end it after this. But so obviously you went through college, or at least part of college. What do you think was like the hardest shift from high school to college? Like, I know when we talked to Mena in the last episode about this, he was talking about how like it was like the hardest thing, not really the hardest thing, but like something that was very difficult was really maintaining your faith throughout, and these people challenging that. So like what do you think, like how, like what were tips for you, like in like maintaining your faith and really staying like steadfast in like what you believe?
Yeah, I mean, my faith is still being, like, it's always being tested. It's always being challenged. Like that, I would agree with Mena. It's the hardest thing is not even just like by other people that your faith is tested. Your faith is tested by like yourself. Like you start to like, you know, wonder and doubt, which is not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of times people look at it as like, no, you should never doubt. You should never, like, seek the answers and you'll find them. And like, if anything, like when you seek these hard questions or these hard things that, you know, sometimes we don't like to talk about,
you get closer.
Yeah, your faith is just only made stronger. So like the hardest transition for me, and it's still happening, is like, yeah, like my faith just being absolutely tested, not by necessarily just other people, but like myself, you know, like you start to think and you start to wonder and you start to do all these things. And like, it's hard to kind of like keep the blinders on sometimes and like realize this is my goal, you know, my goal with my relationship with God, that's the goal. You know, like you get jaded and caught up in all these different things and you're like, okay, I'm going to put this aside. Yeah, my relationship with God's good, but like, I got to focus on this. I got to focus on school. I got to focus on getting into the best med school or getting into the best whatever. So like your number one will always be your relationship with God. And it's so hard to like understand that that's the number one, especially with all these different things that are going to literally come at you like grenades, dude. They're just going to be thrown at you and you got to learn how to just keep your blinders on and keep moving on. Keep on keeping on.
I feel like even like in high school, there's some sort of, it's not obviously as bad, but there's some, you know, like little like you know, issues that go on. Sometimes like you doubt your faith a little bit, and I feel like, you know, again, like I keep talking about this, but like the reason why, you know, we really made this podcast was the real reason. You know, you asked us earlier like what the inspiration was for this. I wanted to save it for the podcast, so I didn't answer.
Save it for the podcast, man.
But like
that's
real,
where the conversation's
like,
gonna go from now on. It's like, oh, save it for the podcast.
I mean, no, that's actually like how our conversations go. Like he'll bring something up and I'll be like, no, like hold
Yeah, when
on,
we're in the
save
car.
that thought. We'll talk about it later.
Classic.
But no, but like the main inspiration for this was really because of like what the church has done for me and what my faith has done for me. Like it seems like a disservice and it seems unfair for me not to spread it. Yeah. And I felt like the podcast is the easiest way because it is the easiest way. I don't actually have to talk to people. You know, I can talk with people that already like know about it, and like, you know, it's like easier, or even people that don't know about it, but it's like a closed setting, you know. And I feel like I feel like it's a lot easier to talk about it, and so I feel like that's like the number one driving force behind this podcast. Yeah,
I love it, man. I was telling you earlier before we started, like, I mean, podcasts weren't really a thing like when I was your age. I mean, I guess they were, but not really. But like, I would have loved to have something like this, like just sit down and talk about. Yeah. It could be anything, you know. Like
that's how we're letting y'all come on.
Yeah, that's it's just whatever. Like, we can talk about
natural
anything
flow.
You want. Yeah, whatever. So I absolutely love what you guys are doing. I love it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Maybe you could be a second guest next time.
Maybe
next time.
Not too soon, because we have a whole list
you
of
guys
people.
got an itinerary? I got to join with that at the band.
Dude, it's actually like the support that we've received. The support we've received from this podcast has been insane.
Yeah.
I was actually expecting it to be terrible.
Yeah.
I was getting prepared for it, but it's honestly been amazing. Like I'm actually surprised. I haven't gotten clowned on yet, really. Not too much. So
Only by the little kids.
Only by the little kids.
Like
Dude,
your cousin.
Yeah, and like you have to realize, like when you first start something, like whatever it might be, and not even just get clowned on, but like you're not gonna be good at it.
Yeah. No.
You know, and like not to say like this was bad, but like your only thing that's gonna happen is like you're just gonna get better. You're gonna have conversations gonna flow better. Everything's gonna feel natural, but you just gotta like be consistent, like remain. Like I want to do this.
I was telling people that like watched the first one. I was like, give it 6 more episodes and it'll be watchable.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like we're getting to that point.
They're gonna want to watch it.
They're gonna
want
to.
We're not gonna be telling them.
Yeah, but like whatever, like whether whether somebody watches or not, you're just having a conversation with the boys or with the girls or whoever it might be.
Yeah, I think.
Keep saying the boys. Sorry, guys.
I think the main thing is like looking at the views and looking at that, and that's gonna make you want to quit. Like later on,
like views are just there.
Personally, with me, like the views, not on the channel, but like back then when I used to like do YouTube videos, the views would go down, and then my motivation would go down, and then I would just stop.
Yeah,
we're not stopping one though.
Yeah, you just realize
I have a
you're not doing it.
right here.
You're not doing it for the views. You're just doing it to have good conversations. Like
that's what I'm doing it for personally.
Yeah, like good conversations, like here, like we just had a great conversation. Like I don't care if it doesn't matter if someone watches it. If it's a good conversation, somebody's gonna tune in. Somebody's gonna watch it. So it's a good conversation.
All right. Well, I guess on that note, we're gonna end it because this has gone on for a while. So
sorry guys, I talk a lot.
No, it's actually great. I actually really enjoyed this one. They're getting better every single week. Sorry, Mena.
Yeah, I'm talking.
But they're getting better every single week. You know, Mona actually talked today, so
shout out Mona, baby.
It was just a good conversation, so I had to talk.
Yeah. So this should be dropping on a Monday night, and hopefully
another one on Wednesday.
Hopefully, we're gonna get another one Thursday night. Yeah. We'll drop, and we are gonna try to do. We're gonna post at least every Monday night, and maybe a second one on Thursday nights if we can. If we have time for that during the week,
probably
obviously.
Not in May because finals.
Yeah, obviously, like AP exams are coming up and all that. So, but definitely during the summer, we're gonna have 2 or 3 a week. So, stay tuned for that. Thank you for all the support, and thank you guys for watching.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right, see you.
Oh, this was amazing.